Hi, my name is Marty, and Larry's been busting my chops to make a movie about what's in my pack. So here we go. I had 9 minutes to do it in, and let's get it done with. My pack of choice is the ULA conduit from Brian there in Utah. Used this pack for 2-3 years. I think this will be the 3rd year coming up when summer hits again. My favorite pack, very light. I think it weighs about a pound. And a lot of room. Is very comfortable. You don't even know it's there. Most of the time, as long as it's light. It's not a heavyweight backpack. It's not meant to carry more than 20 pounds of gear. I tend to carry on the average about 15 pounds. That's including food. I don't have to carry water, being in the Sierras. But with the food, depending on how many days I'm out, roughly about 15 pounds. With no food at all, my base pack, I think, weighs 9.5 pounds. I'd have to re-weigh everything, and I'll be doing that again in April, May, see where I'm at, but that's where I'm at. I sleep on a Clark jungle hammock, the North American model. Don't think I'll ever go back to the ground. It's just a great way to sleep. Very comfortable. You're not having to worry about sliding down on uneven ground. Very comfortable. I have a few issues to work out with staying warm in the summertime because it gets cool at night in the Sierras, down in the 50s, and usually about midnight, 1 o'clock, I start to get chilly. Although when I went deer hunting, I took a small thin ground pad, and it worked well. I didn't even have a problem getting cold when I stuck the ground pad in. Being an ultralight backpacker, I don't have enough gear to put in the pockets to help keep me warm. So I'm working on that. Labor of love, but I don't think I'll ever go back to the ground. What do I use cook-wise? Basically, I still use the Voodoo 1. I have some custom-made legs that Tinny made me. I don't like to cook on the ground, so I usually cook on top of rocks, usually a little boulder or something. And the reason I stay with the Voodoo is I like the 3 legs. I can level it out, I can put it on a rock, flat rock, whatever I'm cooking on, and I can tend to level around. And that's why I had Tinny make these kind of legs for me, is it sits into the granite and it doesn't slide around. If you remember, the old legs had a bend on the bottom when he first came out with them, and so I asked Tinny if he'd make me a set without those bends. And I used that last summer, and I like it. I haven't upgraded yet, probably will one of these days, but I'll be hard-pressed to because I like a 3-leg stove. Probably from the 70s when I used to use a Peak 1, I think it is, by Coleman. They had 3 legs on them. I learned to level them out, and that's me. That's the way I learn to cook. I also carry, and sometimes this changes around depending on what I'm taking to cook. I carry the GSI kettle. I have a little windscreen in there. There's the BIOS. I'm not sure which version that was. I think it's the one before the upgrade. A little piece of wire, because the water in the Sierras is really cold, so when you sit it on top of a going BIOS, if you just set it down on top, you will put it out. Usually I used to just warm it up, but Tinny said use a piece of wire. I do. Works great. But I did order the new BIOS 2.2. It'll be coming in the mail in the next few days. I won't have to carry that wire around anymore. But I like that. And the GSI kettle, very light, very strong. I can take 33, 34 degree water and boil it in roughly 10 minutes, less than that I think, and be cooking food. I carry the Cozy for freezer bag cooking. I used doing that too, but I also kind of jump around with Tinny spaghetti a lot, so I carry around this, and I use a lot of Tinny spaghetti. So it just depends on what I'm doing at the time. But The recipe Tinny has for spaghetti, you just can't beat it. I love it. I also carry a Heine pot and the Heine lid. I think it's the first lid that Tinny made. I don't have any holes in mine. All I do is just sit there and hold it and go like this and drain the water. I didn't see a need for holes, and my thinking is it holds in more heat. You know, we're probably looking at a few seconds either way, but I just don't see a need for a hole in my pot. Here is the spoon I've talked a lot about on Tinny's website. It's titanium at REI for about 10 bucks. It's got a long handle on it. Nothing wrong with the light my fire spork. I used that for 3 or 4 years before I ever found this. But I really like this spoon. As you can see, I don't know if you can hold it up closer. It's kind of got a bend to it, and it's just easy to get stuff out of the bottom of a pot, out of a freezer bag. Come to a conclusion, don't really need a fork. And if you're freezer bag cooking, it's easy to put a hole in a bag. So I just stay with a spoon. I just don't have a need for a fork in anything I use. And if it gets down to it, I'll just use my fingers. But like I said, anything I pretty much cook, except for trout, I don't need a fork. And with trout, I just pick them up with my fingers. That's the way I do it. But like I said, nothing wrong with lighting my fire spork. But I love this spoon. This is a great little spoon. You can see on here, I have it on a little S-beaner, and it just hangs on my pack. That's my son's spoon. And little Heine pot works great. What else? I carry this little REI titanium mug, 400. Works great. That with the Starbucks packaged instant coffees. I hate folders, but this stuff is good. If you like a cup of coffee, you're hard pressed to even know it's instant coffee. I haven't. It just tastes like good coffee. Quick, it's easy, light, works great. That with a spoonful of Nido, the Nestle, it's whole milk. It's not that fat-free carnation stuff I used for years. It's not a big fan of it, but I will use it. Discovered this Nido a couple years ago, and this stuff is good. So if you like to take milk with you, I do. You can put a spoonful in the coffee. Good stuff. So if you ever need whole milk, Nido. I'm not a big creamer fan, so this stuff works great. And it tastes, you're hard pressed to even know that it tastes like it's not fresh.